What's up, everybody? It's Make It Make Sense. And yes, this is straight off the runway. You better check my tags. It's NeNe night. So, y'all, I don't even have popcorn. I got fruit snacks. And this is some liquor. So it's about to go down. Like the videos the intro played. Because Sharonda got something to say. Wait, where? Oh, there we go.
Make it make sense.
Make it make sense. I want to make it make
Make it make sense. That's all. 1 and 1 got to equal 2.
Make it make sense, boo. Big moves. Surfer.
Make it make sense. Tell me how you squeeze it. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things that you say. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things of your dreams. Hey, let me work out all the things in between. Make it make sense. Tell me how you squeeze it. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things that you say. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things of your dreams. Hey, let me work out all the things in between. Make it make sense.
Trying to run, she can't run. Now who can't run? Now who can't run? Who can't run? Yeah.
Who can't run? Y'all, I told you guys, come one, come all. Whether you like NeNe, whether you don't like NeNe, I'm going to eventually drop the link. This is quintessential NeNe Leakes. And people ask me, why do you still review the Housewives? Because I was there season 1, episode 1, when NeNe couldn't get into Sheree's party with the broken gate. Every callback that Carlos did, I knew about it because I am a actual... Oh, hold on. Somebody said I sound muffled. Is this better? Can you hear me better now? I think so. You should be able to. Something's still going on with my mic? Let me know. Okay, y'all can hear me. Yes, this was quintessential NeNe Leakes. And I'm not talking like NeNe Leakes season 1 to, I would say, about season 5 was my favorite housewife. Every week I watched to see what NeNe was going to do. Toothless NeNe was it for me. Once she got them veneers and all the money, it switched up. But seeing her with Carlos, this is what was happening behind the scenes, and I loved it. I know a lot of y'all are going to be mad if you don't like NeNe. I actually loved this interview. This is how Carlos King shines. And we kind of got to see behind the scenes of the producer, because he was baiting NeNe into stuff, and I was loving it. I was almost going to do a pre-recorded video because I saw some things, but I was like, no, I'm going to bring it to y'all. We're going to talk about it live. Yeah, she was toothless, not homeless. She always, she did. I'm not one to gossip, so you ain't heard this from me. But yeah, NeNe was evicted from her first house season 1. No, he's not. Okay, so y'all are with me, NeNe fans. Okay, where do we start? First off, she looked good. This was work well done, NeNe. This version of NeNe looked better than NeNe season 1. And that was what, 2008? So we're about 15 years ago. NeNe looked good. And again, even if you don't like her, you can admit the lady looked good. Let's see.
Okay, we do that. That could be a digital exclusive. Look over good.
You better come on, Freedom.
Oh, wait, what?
Yanni is divorced today as we sit here together. He is a divorced single man. And I don't think Big Papa have ever been divorced. In fact, he's back with his wife.
My internet.
I just saw him in Miami at this time. Hi, Kim and Lee.
Is his wife
My
name
internet
Kim?
says 5.
Big Papa's wife name is Kim.
Yes.
You can't make this shit up.
You cannot. Kimberly.
Well, that was easy to remember.
Okay.
Hey,
So-
Breasia, yes, what are your bags, honey? I live.
Okay. Wait, is this it? Here we go. Y'all, from beginning to end, if you go to Carlos King's page, internet's okay over here. Turn the interview up. Okay, I can do that. This was Cocktails with Queens. Literally. This is not me being shady. Carlos said it's just two good girlfriends having fun. That's exactly what it gave. If NeNe had been bringing this the last couple years, I don't know if they could package this, if Carlos could get her a show, I would be here for it. I definitely would be here for it. She did drop a lot of tea. Yes. Yes. Let's get into it. We're going to do some tidbits because I can't play all of Carlos's interview. I suggest that you guys go and watch it yourself, but we're going to go through some of the juicier tidbits.
They're still married.
Oh, good.
They work through their issues.
Oh, hey, Phaedra.
You know, relationships go through highs and lows.
But you did open your legs to a married man. It's you know, at least she talked about it. NeNe is now saying that her and this man are not necessarily her and I can't pronounce his name. I'm not even going to try, especially not after a drink or two. She's saying that her and her boyfriend aren't even together anymore, but we see them together. So maybe, you know, it's just booty call status. I don't know. I think it's teasing a show. I wouldn't be mad at this show. I know so many people get so frustrated with me when I'm like, then they say, don't bring NeNe back. I would be comfortable with this version of NeNe coming back. NeNe wasn't fun towards the end because it was like she was over it and she was above it. If she came back with just some humility, came back to like the funny stuff, I'm good. She said they're taking a break, but I don't believe that her and her boyfriend are taking a break.
Okay.
You've been married for 18 years. You haven't divorced yet.
No, my applicant is still around.
But do you have a side piece?
No, I don't.
People will be pulling us apart. Literally, be like, she needs to get her body done. And then you just learn how to act. You learn what to say. Like I'm getting younger. And you learn from your... I'm very confused in this moment. What was the question?
let's go back to season 1. Did you feel like you started off being the underdog?
That's the word.
She definitely was. She definitely was that. And she changed that with the quickness. With a total quickness.
NeNe and Kim is in the house. And there's a lady with a guest list. And she says, can I get your name, please? I kind of say my name and just walk on out because I know I'm on the guest list.
Because she knows she was on the guest list. Season 1, episode 1, I was all in. I wanted to be invited to these parties at mansions where they couldn't afford to fix the gate. That's what I wanted. That was quintessential. With NeNe walking in the room, bam! What did she say? Eyes popping, lips busting. That was NeNe. That was, here's this woman. She then paid for this makeup artist. She's showing up to this party with this woman in this synthetic wig who's sleeping with a married man who got her in a Range Rover and has some little man coming over every day to bring her Britney Spears inspired ensembles. This was Housewives. This was low budget insanity in terms of reality TV. It brought us so much. And now we do know that, yes, Sheree did leave her off the list on purpose.
I understand, but I was told to check the list.
Season 1 was everything. Yes, NeNe was the underdog, definitely.
The underdog. See, it came all together. Of course, I was the underdog. first season, I was the underdog. I wasn't sure if I would be liked. I think Sheree, along with Kim and the rest of the girls, thought, oh, please, they're going to love us, and they're not going to like her. And it just didn't work like that.
Exact opposites. I'm not going to lie. I did like Kim season 1. I definitely did like Kim. Not is there another page. And I'm not one to gossip, but that house got foreclosed on because Kim was supposed to vacate the property, and the sale of those proceeds was supposed to go to their divorce because she allegedly, put my banner up, because she did not vacate that 12,000 square foot cottage looking house with the broken gate. She forfeited that money, which is why Bob wasn't having to pay her in child support, allegedly. Just saying.
Like that. They love me and they like them.
Did you develop an ego
Mhm.
after season 1 of The Real Housewives of Atlanta?
I don't think so. I don't. I think that people like to say like you've changed over the years,
Mhm.
but the thing is you're supposed to grow. I every year you get older. It's not like I'm getting younger, and you learn from your mistakes and you become more and more mature. And also, I think people try to say ego when the cameras are watching you, and all these people are pulling you apart every single day, and you have no other choice but to be like, oh my gosh, they just pulled apart my wig. So now you're going to try to get the best wig, right? Oh my gosh, they pulled apart my makeup. Now you're going to get the best makeup artist. And then once you do all these things, they say she's changed. Well, damn, you just pulled me completely apart. I had to change.
Okay, so that's not what Carlos was asking. I'm telling you guys, I know y'all have been in my comments section. Y'all have been in my DMs. Not everybody likes Carlos. What Carlos was actually trying to ask her was, what the fans want to know, at what point do you feel you were no longer that fun-loving NeNe from season 1? And I joke about, being toothless NeNe. In all honesty, there was a certain point where people were no longer connecting with NeNe Leakes. That's the point that we want to know. And she would not give it to him. She just went to her physical appearance, but that's not what he was asking. And he doubles back to that a little bit later.
In some ways, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
But I don't think there's an ego. You just learn how to act. You learn what to say and what not to say, that kind of stuff. But I really worked hard on being myself because I don't like to be in situations where I can't be me. When I'm not me, I'm not comfortable.
Mhm.
I like to just be me. And I feel like I'm more liked when I'm being me. I'm less liked when I am like holding back and trying not to be NeNe. So I really sometimes I have to say to myself, like, be NeNe now, be NeNe, because NeNe is what people like.
That's true, but we didn't get. There was, and you guys can put in the comments. I know we got a whole bunch of NeNe fans, diehard fans in the building today. If you are a diehard NeNe fan, I'm going to ask you when I pull up my panel, do you think that NeNe changed at some point during the show? Because I definitely think that she did change at a certain point. Just my opinion.
But I don't think there's an ego. I think with all of us girls over the years, we all change. We all get new eyes and new nose, new titties, new ass.
So you think Kenya changed the direction? Yeah.
Why don't you guys film me looking for a date or talking on the phone to some guy I've just been talking to for a couple of weeks rather than making me pretend I'm out on a date with somebody? I thought things started to change right about then. Did Kenya go with us to South Africa?
No, so that was the thing. So that was season 5. So
Okay.
Season 4 was South Africa, and it was you, Sheree, Cynthia, Phaedra, Candy. Yeah. Am I missing anybody? It was
Marlo went to Africa.
Marlo.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then Kim was still on the show, but she didn't go to Africa.
She didn't go to Africa.
Yeah.
She didn't go to any trips.
She is now saying that Kenya changed the direction of the show, and I can't say that I disagree with her. Kenya kind of upped the ante. Kenya shook the cast up. That's what a cast shakeup should do.
No. So you think Kenya changed the direction of the show?
I think, I hate to say she was the one that actually changed, but to me, that's when things started to change right about then.
In a negative way.
Yeah, I felt like people started to create storylines and pretend to have boyfriends, and all of those things, to me, my opinion, does not make for a good reality show. I think reality shows are exactly what it says, reality.
I don't think she was being all the way honest when she was talking about Kenya.
What is really happening. And I think everybody started to change then. Now, prior to her, I think, I may get some of my seasons mixed up. Prior to her, I think Phaedra and Cynthia were on prior to Kenya.
Phaedra and Cynthia came on season 3.
Started to not want to show like, I think she showed her pregnancy because she was pregnant the whole time, but she wasn't sure about how far along she was. And
Phaedra, not knowing how far along she was the absolute fool. Phaedra pretending that she didn't know her due date was absolutely hilarious. Let's see.
You gonna be in pain, and then when it come out, you just like the pain away. Phaedra, when was your due date?
And it was July, but this baby getting ready to come up out of here.
Sheree's face, absolutely hilarious. Sheree said, wait, what? And we all know Sheree ain't the swiftest, but she could do simple math.
July? I thought you were 5 months pregnant. Yeah, my due date was July 26th, August 1st.
But isn't it dangerous to have a baby at 6 and 7 months?
Not if everything's fully formed
Look at old Mama Joyce.
and his lungs are functioning.
I ain't never heard of no doctor do that.
Did he get that right? Is this
Quintessential Housewives.
Yeah. I think it was really weird when Phaedra really couldn't give me a solid due date. I'm thinking that you don't know you got knocked up. But he's sitting on my bladder, and so I've had a couple weeks ago I had a lot of bleeding.
You see how she just lies effortlessly? Do y'all see how she just lies effortlessly?
Bleeding? Yeah. And so I'm coming about here. One thing I can do, and that's add. And what Phaedra is saying, it's not adding up.
So you're really like more like 6 months?
I don't know what I
about 6
am.
months?
I know he
Phaedra was ready for that conversation to end. I don't know what I am. That means stop asking me questions.
they're gonna do it at 34 weeks. So 34 weeks is when he's gonna come.
Oh, okay.
Shut up! That is so stupid.
Look,
Hood, honey. Don't even know who they pregnant by, and they know how far they are. It was either not his baby or she got pregnant before she got married.
so y'all gotta give me some advice because I don't know nothing about babies.
You should keep him there until he's ready to come out.
You said what?
Yo, I told you we were gonna be having a good time tonight. I told you guys we're gonna be definitely having a good time tonight. NeNe was right. Fact checking. Phaedra did change. Phaedra came in lying, but so did you when you said you didn't know her. Just saying.
And all of those kind of things.
There's
to
chicks
me.
in the hood
Yeah.
who don't know who they're pregnant by
Right.
and know how far along they are.
Exactly. You see, so those things to
Yes.
me start to make the show not be what it is.
I never thought about it that way.
That's how I feel about it. I feel like, when we first started, all the things we were doing were just for real. They were just for real. What were happening in our lives was really happening in our lives. Even on season 2, they were really happening in our lives. I think season 3, we started to get out of Deshaun. I mean, she had her foundation or whatever it is that she was doing and whatever the little stuff was, but we were real housewives. And so I think for us, we were just excited to be out filming and doing something. That's how I felt about it. I was just happy to be out doing something. So when you see all of
They made $10,000. Again, I want you guys to actually watch Carlos's whole interview. But that first season, they made $10,000. And maybe it doubled for the second. They weren't making any money for this show. And the network was making millions already because their ratings were insane. I think they were in millions from season 1.
all of us dressing and all those events that we had, we paid for those out of our pockets.
Crazy.
Out of our pockets.
Going back to season 3. So the first 2 seasons, like you said, ratings galore, ratings increase.
I had never heard of Cynthia.
Okay. She was a supermodel.
I still had not heard.
Get to know her to bring her in on the show.
Yes. Yes. So the producers told me they were looking at a new girl. Her name is Cynthia. They love for me to go out with her. She and I decided to go out to like a lunch or dinner or something. And I remember we went to Papa Do's. And I remember Cynthia being like super nervous, like, oh my God, this is NeNe Leakes. And we went to Papa Do's.
Did you know who she was?
I did not.
Okay.
I'd never heard of her before.
She was a supermodel.
I still had not heard of her. The only supermodels I had heard of was Naomi and Tyra and maybe a couple other black girls, Beverly. But I had never heard of Cynthia.
Okay.
The shade of it all. The shade of it all. NeNe said, I don't know this lady. Who?
The shade of it all.
She's on the Cosby Show too.
I didn't see it.
Okay.
Y'all try it. It was just like, oh my God. Like Cynthia's, this is her guy. And so yeah, I got why they like Cynthia because Peter was extra.
If Cynthia was not with Peter Thomas, would she have been a housewife?
I don't think so. I don't. I just don't think, not that she couldn't, because I know Cynthia. I know the Cynthia in front of the camera, and I know Cynthia that's not on camera. And so I feel like definitely the Cynthia that's not on camera has the strength and she's vocal enough to be on the show for sure, without Peter. But on camera, I felt like she never really wanted to show that side of her because of, listen, Cynthia can read, and I'm the one that told you guys on camera. I said, no. Cynthia doesn't read, honey. Cynthia reads, honey.
But in the same vein, she's saying that Cynthia should not have had a job. She did this and she never actually like backtracks on it. Y'all remember, we're going down memory lane today.
Way, you blow that way, girl, bye.
So you were talking about Cynthia.
I'm just saying, since you brought her, when the wind, somebody that won. I mean, it's not like they're really really bringing anything to the show. I mean, it is okay. It's not like she's really bringing anything to the show. I mean, just to be honest, I mean, she talk about what the Bailey agency in bar one. I mean, it's not like they're really talking about anything. So, and then if you have somebody that can't stick, you know, like you need somebody that can be like, stick to something. You know, if when the wind blow, you blow this way, you blow that way, girl, bye.
See, NeNe carried weight, especially back then. So when she was saying that she didn't come from Cynthia's job, you definitely did come for Cynthia's job, man. And you're still shading her to this day. You basically just said that Cynthia was your fan who you knew nothing about. I knew who Q says there wasn't shade. Nobody knew her. I knew who Cynthia was. I knew who she was.
So you were talking about Cynthia.
I'm just saying, since you brought her name up, I'm not talking about anybody in particular, but you brought her name up, so I'm just giving you my opinion on it. I think Cynthia's a good friend, and but I think she just blows wherever the wind blows.
Well,
when NeNe had it. I remember watching that Watch What Happens Live thinking, did she just say that? Did she really just say that?
Sunny. And so I know Cynthia and I know what she does. So yeah, Cynthia's pretty fire. And let me tell you, she put Peter in his place many days.
Oh, absolutely. I've been witness of that.
With New Girls, which were
be a part of that show. Mm-hmm. And all of the girls in Atlanta wanted to be a part of it.
They did. And held that door open for all of these Black ensemble shows to walk in that much out there, because we ended up getting back together. And when we were getting back together, we both were feeling
alleging that.
You know, I felt like that really hurt my son's feelings. And so, I don't want to hurt my children.
She's talked about like the fact that Atlanta definitely was the first of this type of show. They were showing Black people with money, Black people behind the gates, or Black people that were supposed to have money and be behind the gates. And everybody wanted to be a part, and NeNe was very protective.
Children in the process of doing something that I want to do. So I wished I could take that moment back. And I also, when Greg and I to go, not me making him go. So until Bryson is ready to an addict. I have a close cousin that's an addict. So unfortunately,
she's talking about Bryson.
Our family, there's just been certain people that have been addicted to certain things, and it's a real struggle. And as a mom, just to watch it is, my hands are tied. You know, he is 31 years old. He's an adult. He has 3 children, 3 beautiful children who I adore. He has a wife. It's not much that I can do. For people who have had children or family members,
I fully support NeNe. NeNe has decided not to bail Bryson out, and I fully am in support of that. NeNe has done her part with Bryson. Bryson is going to have to want to do better. But let's move on.
Then I don't know. It just as a man, it didn't make him feel great that I was making more money than him. But to go and buy the latest bag, he started looking at me like sideways, like, oh, who she think she is? Because I no longer had to ask him for money. I no longer
She's talking about Greg.
If I wanted to go and buy the latest bag, I just go and buy the latest bag. And so I think that I pulled some of his strength or his power or something. I don't know. It just as a man, it didn't make him feel great that I was making more money than him.
No, it doesn't. The thing is this, and I want to talk about how women who are the breadwinner become the breadwinner after being married for so long. And the foundation was the man took care of me.
What NeNe said made sense, because we're going way back down memory lane. When they were in, I want to say Mexico on Kenya's trip, and Greg was talking to Peter and he pushed Peter, he kept saying, this was my thing and you took it from me. I could definitely hear Greg saying that same thing to NeNe. I was the man of the house and you're taking it from me. NeNe is basically saying that once she had money, she no longer had to ask Greg for anything. It was just kind of like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to buy this. I'm going to do that. And Greg wasn't accustomed to that because Greg had basically took her off that pole, and whirlwind love, took care of her children. They had a baby, and then it was NeNe and Greg, and they were a core family unit with traditional values. the one thing that I would say is if Greg really did, because the allegations were he met her while she was still dancing and he took her out of that lifestyle. If Greg did that and was supporting Bryson and y'all had Brent and y'all had a family and he had you living in a 5,000 square foot house, why would things change once you got money is my question. Why would, if he was the breadwinner and now you make more money, wouldn't that just strengthen your bond? Like, wouldn't you do everything to make sure that now that I'm the breadwinner, we're going to have this glow up together? It shouldn't, I don't know. Greg is gone now and they got back together. So clearly their marriage did work. But I'm just saying that part was a little strange to me because she acknowledged that she emasculated Greg to some extent. So maybe it wasn't necessarily something that she was cognizant of, because when you go from not having the money to having the money, I'm sure that is kind of like an ego boost. But it ties into what we were saying about NeNe in terms of how she changed on the show. And she never wants to really fully acknowledge or give a full-bodied answer that, yes, you know what? I did change. I changed in my marriage and I changed on the show. So let's see.
In the household, the roles reversed. It's difficult for a man to accept that.
And he is the true definition of an OG. And so he felt like his role as the husband and the head of the household was to take care of his family. And in a sense, I took some of that role away from him. Greg is old school. He's with opening up the door, and he's with all the things that a lot of the old school guys would do. He's here for you.
I really love NeNe and Greg together. When they got a divorce, I was shocked.
This season 4, you and Greg are going through the divorce. A lot of people assumed that NeNe got famous. She's rich. She's on Celebrity Apprentice. She's doing it, and she wants to see how the grass is green on the other side. And I'm gonna get to that in a second.
Hold on 1 second. I think somebody is at my door. Hold on 1 second. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. I can't talk. Y'all want some fruit snacks? No. I got, here you go. There you go. Y'all want to say hey to people? They got like 700 people here. Come on. But just real quick. See, I got people banging on my door. Say hey.
Hi. That wasn't me. That was her. No, that was you.
Say hey, KJ.
Hey.
They can't see you.
Hi.
This is what happens. There's always little people at my door. Okay. So I'll come down after I'm done. Sorry, y'all. And they took my fruit snacks. Okay. So anyway, if it ain't, sorry. Let's go back.
I remember the day you finalized your divorce. And I was with you.
Devastated.
You were devastated. You called me to your bedroom. And if you know NeNe Leakes, you are not allowed to go to her bedroom or her closet, as we've seen on season 11, I think. She called me to her bedroom. Yes. And you said, Carlos, we're divorced. Yes. And you were so sad. You were devastated.
Okay, so guys, this is a moment where I feel like I'm glad that we're getting behind the scenes with Carlos and NeNe. Because for a long time, there were so many rumors that NeNe had got that divorce for the show. So to hear that this was authentic, I was really excited about that, because I kind of love. And now knowing that it wasn't just for the show and they really going through something and they found their way back to each other and she was there. We weren't supposed to know this, but Peter said NeNe was there till the very end with Greg, rubbing his feet because that was the only thing giving him relief. I loved this moment. It was a small moment, but I needed you guys to hear that part.
And I wanted people to, because I knew.
And I was like, because Greg could get you good, baby. He would get you to have my kids in a 2-parent. And he did things that me being a wife did not appreciate or like. But I know everybody would think it would be me. I was devastated getting a divorce. I felt like I had to show Greg and teach him a lesson. And the only lesson that Greg was going to get was for me to divorce him. And I was going to have to carry it all the way through. And when I carried it all the way through, I would never forget Greg called me on the phone. He said, "You bitch, you divorced me." And I was like, Because Greg could get you good.
You bitch. You divorced me. I miss this NeNe. Really do.
What was it like being single? Because you weren't.
I would have to say, for me, Carlos, I'm a relationship person.
It's so long.
Yes.
Make that happen. That's
Yes.
beautiful. Did you say?
As soon as he get out, grab him.
Really?
Yes, I did.
How is he?
He's doing good. He actually called me about Bryce.
We're talking about John.
He
the
said, I
pizza
heard
guy.
what happened to Bryce, and I just want you to know that I will put him in a rehabilitation center in New York, and I will pay for it.
And what did you say?
As soon as he get out, grab him. Take him. I also, not just saying John, I mean, but because we're talking about him, but Lamar Odom also calls me and said that he would grab Bryce right away and send him to his place. He has a rehabilitation place.
Y'all remember John, right?
Getting weird. But I still need to get this watch. Bling, bling, bling. Bitches is mad.
Just as mad.
Getting weird. But I still need to get this watch. Bling, bling, bling. Bitches is mad.
NeNe also says that when she was with John would literally do things like if NeNe was with a friend, your friend could also buy something too. If we're out shopping, your friend can pick up something too. And I wonder if that friend was Marlo. And once Marlo saw how much money John had is when Marlo started working him for his money as well. Because Marlo's a great friend. Just saying.
Place somewhere. So I've gotten calls from people in support because, honestly, it's nothing I can do. My hands are tied.
Things are more than you.
Yes.
And it feels fun. It feels.
And there was no cameras on me like that. And I just needed a moment. I met Yanni. He was a separate. No one knows. I would.
He liked taking the pictures.
Of course.
Think you were experience the type of love you have with Greg with another man?
I do not. I think that, again, my love with Greg was I don't know that he was using me for fame, but he sure wasn't hating on it.
So she's talking about her new guy, the new African guy. He sounds like a user to me. No, not Margot, Marlo. She's basically saying that the new guy, even though he's not necessarily technically a fame whore, he's not mad at all of the fame that they're getting.
He liked taking the pictures.
Of course.
And that was different because Greg never.
Right. And I also would always look at him like, okay.
Billions.
That's
did not work on season 5. I remember watching Kenya and Portia and being like, these are 2 new great additions. And I felt like they.
Remember her and Phaedra started out as friends. Kenya and Candy and a few of
6 is in the Guinness Book of World Records. Season 6 cast was the strongest cast on the Real Housewives of Atlanta.
I agree.
I agree too.
Tell me why.
I think at that moment, I feel like I think Kenya is great on the show. And I think she was a great addition to the show when she came on. Too. And I think the show needs Kenya.
But NeNe doesn't feel she's a star.
I never saw her as the star of Real Housewives of Atlanta, ever.
Why not?
One woman they ever bring on this show. If anything, they are threatened by me. I felt like I needed to come to work. I would try to.
Okay, y'all. So this is where it gets really, really good. This is where Carlos sets her up for the okie doke. We're talking about Kenya. Kenya's great for the show, but she's not the star. Carlos is asking her a pointed question, and NeNe doesn't even realize why he's asking her this.
Figure out whatever, we need to be. I'm trying to help y'all. I want to figure it out. I want the show to succeed.
You were the anchor.
Yeah. So some of these girls come on, they don't have no plans. They don't have no nothing. They're not trying to do anything. They just kind of chill. They get a check. And I feel some kind of way about any chick that's on this show just getting a check when I am giving the blood out of my veins to make sure that this
of an event, the pressure's on you to make sure they
backing down.
So what happened on Pillow Talk? Pillow Talk.
Okay. So Carlos goes from asking her about Kenya. He's already asked her, do you feel you've changed? And now he's asking her specifically about Pillow Talk. Y'all, he asked her that for a very pointed reason, and she did not realize.
Obviously, you and your negligee was strung up and down the hotel suite at the Intercontinental, and Kenya was late.
Yes.
And I want to break the fourth wall here. Kenya was late, and you were frustrated because I don't think people know this. As the host of an event, the pressure's on you to make sure the event is good. And let's be clear, to make sure that this shit can be used of the decline of y'all friendship.
But I can say this. I have you guys know a lot of these girls are extremely late, not just Kenya. Many of them are very late, and that's very frustrating. If we have to be somewhere at 4 and everybody trickles in at 6, it's just very upsetting. So you may have arrived very happy and ready to have a good time, but 2 hours later, sitting there waiting on everybody to arrive, you're like, bitch, what's wrong with you? I've been here since 4. So I think it was that kind of energy towards her. And I'm not sure, but I can say this. I don't think Kenya and I ever
That was not the question. He wanted to know specifically, what was it? what was the issue between you and Kenya at Pillow Talk? Now, what I had heard, but y'all know I'm not one to gossip. What I had heard was one of the producers had told NeNe, we can't really start the scene until the star arrives. And that is why NeNe was pacing the floor at Pillow Talk. That is why Kenya got the response that she got, not because Kenya was late. And NeNe did not even realize why Carlos did 1 + 1 = 2 with this interview. He asked her if she changed. She said no, just the physical appearance. He asked her if Kenya was a star. She said no, and I'm not intimidated by Kenya, and I'll go there with Kenya. NeNe, you are the star of this show. You don't even have to respond and be like, nope, But he was setting her up for the okie doke. Then he asked her about Pillow Talk, and the only thing you can say is because she was late. It wasn't because she was late. But I really loved this whole interview for NeNe and for Carlos.
Clicked like people.
Do you think the destruction of your friendship with Cynthia came because she let people get into her ear about you?
I think Cynthia definitely let people get in her head. Like a lot of girls, even Marlo was even at a point where she's like, oh, they think that you know, like you telling me what to do, bossing me around. And I feel like those girls wanted to have their own identity, which they did, but they would always let people get in their head like NeNe.
Yo, I'm gonna go ahead and drop the link. Check out the whole interview. NeNe and Carlos killed it. I know a lot of people say they don't really like NeNe or Carlos, but it was a really good interview. I enjoyed it. I actually watched this interview a couple times just so that I could replay it with you guys. NeNe is boring alone. The link has been dropped. Anybody is welcome to come up. It's a complete open panel. It's a free for all. But this, this was a good interview. And this is the kind of stuff that I think Carlos should be doing. We have over 700 people here. Let me see where we are on likes. Let's see. We only have 200 likes, y'all. We should be at around like 500 likes. Go ahead and hit that like button. What's up, Dewan, Q, Corey, Autumn? Dewan, you start.
Hey.
Hey,
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Did you watch the interview?
Of course I did. I consider myself NeNe Leakes' #1 fan. Like, this was crazy because I actually
hold on one second, Dewan.
Yeah, of course,
I dropped the link. I think it's Royal K. All you have to do is click the link, and the backstage is filling up really, really fast. So once the link is clicked, just click it. We got 2 more slots left. Okay, jump in, Dewan.
Yeah, no problem. But no, yeah, this was just crazy because it's like nostalgia. Like, I remember watching season 1 with my grandmother. Like, that's how I got into this. Like, she just used to be obsessed with the show. And so to hear all of these like little behind the scenes tidbits about, what was going on. And I think this is the first time I've ever actually heard a verified dollar amount for like a salary that a housewife had made. And so I thought that was fantastic. And I thought it was justice for NeNe. She was trending all day today. And she was vindicated. I believe she was vindicated. And a lot of what she stated, I thought it was great that she was able to talk about, the little tiff that she had with 50 Cent. And I believe her. I think that, later on, there was definitely an aligned force. And I believe that Cynthia was in that to, help with the exit. But this was fantastic. And yeah, I'm just excited to talk about it with everybody.
I'm thinking that this is going to end up being Carlos King's biggest video to date.
Well, yeah, she by 8 hours in, she had already had 100,000 views. And I went back and started watching a couple of the other Housewives shows, and their totals were at 100,000. And so this is going to be huge for him.
This might put him in 80,000 subscribers. So, okay. Q, jump in.
Well, happy Tuesday.
Hey.
We always got to start off with the positives, like my Aunt Wendy says. I thought it was a really good interview. I definitely understood NeNe when she was talking about, like, this is her baby, how, she started this show, about how she loves love and all that kind of stuff and everything like that. So I definitely felt her on that. And I'm in total agreement with her when it comes to Bryce. I was like, there's nothing else she can do. He's a grown man. So it's absolutely nothing else she can do. But I'm glad there's people who want to come in and I'm glad there's people who's going to come in and help him out or whatever. So now that I got the positive out the way,
okay,
let me do what I always do best. Congratulations to Carlisha. This will be your biggest interview that you probably will ever have. Thanks to NeNe. NeNe, I think you need to humble yourself. And I think one of the issues that people have with NeNe is that she does not. It's always one of the things. Well, I'm not jealous of them, but they're jealous of me. Without me, this can't go on. Without me, this can't happen. That can't happen. Kenya wasn't a star. I was a star. No, I'm not a big Kenya fan, but Kenya came in and she turned the show upside down. And I do believe that if it was not for Kenya nor Portia, that the show would have been stale. I mean, we can say a lot of things about both of them, but they came in and they did what they needed to do. And I think I'm glad Portia got another season because she really got to grow once she left her wife. She really got a chance to grow.
It wasn't growing. She wasn't being real. She wasn't.
I do believe Kenya with the fake storylines of the boyfriends. I do believe that. I do believe it was pressure for her to get a fake man on there. I don't know why they just couldn't show her dating and just having a good time. I don't know. I don't necessarily believe
she was having a good time with Apollo in that pool.
I definitely don't believe the whole her and Cynthia beef. I believe they both played a part in it. I'm glad that Carlos admit that he's dating the African, so we now know who kids he babysitting. If you catch my drift. She's not coming back to TV. She's not in that capacity. She'll never be a star in that capacity again because NeNe self-sabotage herself. She's the definition of self-sabotage. Like whatever the issues you had going on with Bravo, you should have kept it behind the scenes. We shouldn't have knew about it, and you came out and I don't want to say you ruined your career, but you may have ruined your career because you went at the big networks and this and that. I don't know. I just don't think that
could Carlos do a Love and Marriage Atlanta and have NeNe as
ain't nobody gonna watch it, but Carlos can do whatever.
I'd watch it.
I would watch it too.
It's gonna turn toxic, all this kind of stuff.
I'll watch it.
I won't because I don't think I will watch nothing else that Carlos does. Well, like the leader.
And the thing is that everybody gonna watch it. But, so anyway, the thing is that I don't like that. I don't like that NeNe's not giving Sheree her props. Without Sheree, you would not have had a scene to go off on. And in my personal opinion, I think season 1 through 3, Kim, NeNe, and Sheree were the stars of that show. We cannot discredit anything that they all did because without Kim, NeNe wouldn't have nobody to argue with. Without Sheree, nobody would have left your name off the list. So it's just simple as that. They all put the show on the list. NeNe did not carry the show by herself. She had some of the best lines and the biggest personality, but she didn't carry the show by herself.
It was an ensemble cast, but I definitely think that I watched the show for NeNe and Kim. Those first 2 seasons, it was definitely the NeNe and Kim show. Sheree was a supporting cast member.
I mean, that's fine, but I'm just saying, like, people because they don't like Sheree, they'll be like, well, Sheree didn't do this, Sheree didn't do that. The biggest scene from season 1 came because Sheree left her name off the list, whether she did it on purpose, whether she did this, whatever. It came from that which brought out NeNe's personality. So they played off of each other, just like Kim and NeNe played off of each other. And then the show it got great, and now it's trash. So,
Corey, jump in, and I think we're gonna do a free for all. So it's just gonna be like, be respectful if somebody's talking, but we can respond to one another. Let's try it out. If it gets crazy, then we gotta switch it up. But let's just try free for all.
Hey, Brendan says, "Hey, everybody."
Hey.
I think that NeNe was definitely the breakout star. Period.
Yes.
Period. Pooh. Period. Okay. She was the breakout star. Kim was the next best supporting first season. Then there was Sheree. Okay, because these girls were
Nobody ever names Deshaun. How about that? Nobody.
You know what? Deshaun is what Sheree became. Okay. Boring. Boring.
She tried, right?
No,
she tried hard.
She tried.
She
She
just
tried
did it.
hard.
Give her that.
Trina,
But
I see you I see you in the back, but it says device is not connected. That's why I'm not bringing you up. I can't. You might have to log out and log back in because it shows device is not connected. Sorry, Corey.
that's okay. Don't let me get my guppy on because you're gonna make me get off track. Because I think these girls really knew one another. Like she said, Lisa and Deshaun came later. Those three did the pilot. They really had a relationship. When Housewives really works is when they really have an actual relationship.
Yes.
And not a manufactured production relationship. I loved Kim season 1. I was like, okay, let me find out who this Big Papa is. Let me find out what he do. But that was Big Papa 1 in season 1. Then Lee came in season 2. That was the downfall between their relationship. Was they're both papas were in real estate. So NeNe and Greg were in real estate. So something happened and NeNe was like, don't mess with Kim. And then that was the downfall of everything. And my favorite part of season 1 was, here go Sheree, I'm the black Kim. Don't you see our nose matched? Our nose, I'm the black Kim. All that phony mess. Come on.
Little bunch of men knock the devil.
And her ratty carpet in her son's room.
I don't know, but anybody can jump in.
Can I say something?
Wait, I
am so grateful that finally people have something positive to say about this show because I loved this show. And lately, all the negativity just like brings me down, you know? And I love that people like Lamar and NeNe's ex are reaching out and telling her son, hey, we've got space for him to help him, you know, recover and to live a good life. And I just think that needs to be acknowledged sometimes in this world. So,
okay, so that's a good point. Somebody had put in my comment section that, you know, it feels like all people who review the show keep saying the same thing and that they're really hard on RHOA. Look, the only thing I can say to that is I'm only judging what you give me. Shout out to Karen Huger.
Okay, we're talking about the early years, right? Or
yeah, no, I mean, we're talking about now because you're saying that it can be kind of depressing to watch. But for me, I review the show because I really like the show. I know every scene from RHOA. I'm a super fan, but they're not giving us today what we were getting seasons 1 through 10, we'll say.
Because they're not friends. They don't like each other.
Yeah.
I'm mad at content creators for being bored with the show if the viewers are bored with the show and not even watching.
I think it has a lot
create
to
the
do with
problems?
the production. Oops, sorry.
Sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's boring. I'm sorry. I don't care about
Right. You can only work with what you have. You can't make it as exciting. You're not being paid to be the produer.
Right.
It is.
But I think
I only watch it because of make it make sense. I only watch it because I can't sit there. I will fall asleep, like you said you did the other day.
Well, look at that cute face, right? You can.
Yeah.
Well, also, it's very hard to make content and then you be trying to like jazz it up and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, I sat here for a whole hour to watch y'all to do nothing and look at rabbits. Like,
but someone said that NeNe didn't give Sheree her props. She did say, "Thank you, girl."
That ain't
And
when I tell you guys,
when Kim was changing in her car in that first season, that reminded me so much of me and my girlfriends.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely have changed.
That's when it was real.
Right. We're all dating married men.
No, we were changing to go from one place to the other.
I know.
They're going to meet Big Papa.
Okay,
I'm just playing D.
I'm gonna tell you guys something. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, I need NeNe on my TV screen quick, fast, and in a hurry on somebody's network.
100%. 100%.
Listen,
You can
that
hate
hour
her,
and a
love her,
half,
but just have her there.
that hour and a half interview with Carlos was more entertaining than season 15 of RHOA.
Right.
Okay, I was so tickled and entertained from the beginning to end.
Beginning
So cute.
Yes.
I love you, twin. I'm gonna have to disagree with you. And NeNe is not for everybody, but I love her confidence, you guys. I love it.
I like how
Even
she
the
came
way
in and started
she-
interviewing him, and we found out all about his
Exactly.
She flipped the script. She's the only
Yes.
person that he has ever interviewed that has done that.
Exactly.
Her energy was making me like pay attention and being entertained and like want to know more.
Autumn, I like NeNe. I don't like NeNe when she's not being. I don't like NeNe when she's not being humble and everything is when she plays the victim. I like NeNe like when they first started interviewing. That's the NeNe we all fell in love with when she's just having a good time, making us laugh,
right,
thinking too much into it. When she starts getting, I'm this. and
Probably
I'm
was
that,
like
I
catering
don't
to
care.
everyone's emotions, right? Like trying to feel like, oh, I should do this, oh, I should do that.
Yeah,
but
I'm
you're
sure
right.
that has
I
to be a
like it when
challenge.
she's normal.
Yeah, when she's normal.
And Q, if you're not gonna think, if you don't think you the baddest, you know what I'm saying? She's supposed to think she's the baddest. You know, we all supposed to think that.
Yeah,
You know?
you have to build yourself up because she said that they kept coming in, all the new girls. Oh, we gotta get NeNe.
Yep, trying to take her.
They're
Yep.
tearing me
And
down.
you can see
I
that.
have to build me up.
Right. You could
But
actually
I think
see
with
that.
I think with that, yes, you're supposed to do this, be the baddest. But NeNe always act like she never contributes to any problem. Somebody always has a problem with her, and she's always like, I don't know why they don't like me. I don't know why they have a problem with me. And
Maybe
it's like,
everybody have fun like that.
Yeah. But you could
Everybody got a NeNe in their group that don't want to take responsibility for anything that they do. That's
so yes,
okay. That's
the
being
NeNe
real.
I don't care.
Can I jump in?
Yeah, jump in.
So I do want to say kudos to NeNe in this interview for really just demanding her flowers in the way that she interviewed with Carlos. I love in the beginning when she said, I'm that girl. You know, you interview me in person. You Zoom with those girls. It's like, right. She
I knew it was going to be on at that moment.
Yes. It's like, you know, you have to give her just due. When you think of the Real Housewives, the first name you're going to think about is NeNe Leakes. Like Carlos himself deemed her the #1 housewife of all times.
Okay, no, Shanisha, you know that Carlos will butter you up just to get you.
Does that
in
with
that
everyone.
interview.
Everybody.
Yeah, he do. He sure do.
NeNe understands when she's being buttered.
Hold on, I'm sorry,
She
I
wants to
interrupted
give
Shanisha.
that.
Please finish your thought, Shanisha. I'm sorry, that was my fault.
Butter NeNe toast a little bit. It's okay. It's okay. Butter her toast a little bit.
And it's deserved. It's well deserved too, in my opinion.
This is the first time I believed him, though.
Yeah,
exactly.
I agree.
You know, I can't stand that heifer.
I agree. You know what I also found interesting?
He's still a heifer.
I also found one part interesting as well, Mims, and it was when she started talking about Phaedra coming onto the show, and she mentioned how she just thought to herself, like, what is she doing here? Like, this is my show. This is my space. I think NeNe overall has that same sentiment when other women are joining the show. But, you know, overall, I love the interview. I thought it was extra shady. Like, I laughed in multiple parts of the interview. And I agree. I do think NeNe deserves to be back on TV in some sort of way. I don't want to see her on RHOA because I feel like it's a sinking ship. I don't think that show can be saved at all.
Apart. She would tear them apart.
She would. But I overall just feel like there's no more story to tell there. They just need a complete reboot. But I would love to see her.
It's a story of vengeance. It's a story of vengeance.
But she was very vulnerable in that moment, Shanisha, that she said, you know, I didn't want her there because I'm from Athens. That's my
Right.
thing. You know, why she didn't have to say that. You know,
Right.
that's an open moment
gave
for
me
us.
And she admitted she knew Phaedra too. I don't know if y'all caught that.
She did.
Yeah, but
You know I clocked it.
different. It's a different.
You know I clocked it. Let me say this
It
really
gave me
quickly though.
jealousy.
Yeah.
I really do feel like what we did not see or what she would not say was the actual truth as it pertained to Phaedra. She was the Phaedra when she was like down and out and looking for work.
On the TV show when I was with Bobby Brown. What TV show I wanted to get on? When you called me. You to talk to you about doing a TV show. Exactly.
That did not pan out. And when that did not pan out, I think she was done with Phaedra.
Yes.
And now Phaedra's on her show and she's looking at Phaedra. And by this point, NeNe's wearing
On the TV show when I was with Bobby Brown. What TV show I wanted to get on? When you called me. You to talk to you about doing a TV show. Exactly.
This was pre-teeth, but she had gotten a better wig. She was, you know, season 3 is when she said they first started making hundreds of thousands of dollars. And here comes Phaedra looking like Athens with her criminal husband, and she's boring and she's lying about her due date. I think that all that played into I don't need to be on the cast with you.
Right.
Because when I wanted to work with you, you didn't see it from me. And now you're on my stage. I think that's what that
And
really
that's
was.
what she kept hinting on, that they saw her, and she didn't say it, but for me, I felt like they saw her as gutter trash, ghetto, whatever, and beneath them. And now it pisses them off that she was the one that was the breakout star.
Correct. Because Sheree always thought that she was going to be the one because she had the house, she had the lifestyle. She thought she was going to be the one. And that was, to me, the pivot in their relationship, what changed the dynamics of their relationship. And you see, Carlos was very nice to point out Sheree's broken fence.
So shady.
I 100% agree with that. And I think over the seasons where NeNe and Sheree have been on the same seasons, Sheree has never really seen it for NeNe since season 1. And I think, you know, the importance of NeNe and Carlos saying that NeNe was initially the underdog. She thanked Sheree in that first season for leaving her off the list because that was a mean girl moment for Sheree. Like, of course, the entire cast was supposed to be in attendance at this event. She had no reason to not invite NeNe. We hadn't seen any major blow-ups between the two of them that would make her not invite NeNe or leave her name off the guest list. So because of that mean girl energy, people flocked to NeNe. And I mean, throughout the years, Sheree has always taken initial deeper digs at NeNe, even when she brought up the situation with Bryce and him shoplifting at Walmart.
And then her son got arrested. Then Sheree's son, everything she went to NeNe. Then we found out she had a record. Everything she talked about NeNe, she had the same thing going on in her life. Like, you're right.
But that's the thing.
And what did you think about Cynthia and Peter?
Oh, Lord.
I agree with what she said.
Yeah,
I
did
mean,
too.
Cynthia herself has admitted to what she said.
And I believe it.
I believe it. Cynthia even admitted it. She said Peter would tell her you wouldn't be on the show if it wasn't for me.
Right.
Well, Peter knew his importance.
Can we get something straight here? Cynthia was never ever a supermodel. She was a popular.
I'm glad you're bringing this up.
Correct.
She was a popular
She was
model
a print model.
in the
she was not a
80s and
supermodel.
90s.
Right.
That when Rashomba Williams, the great Rashomba Williams, was not available, who was also her phenotype, and they resembled one another. When Rashomba couldn't be booked, they booked Cynthia.
Right. And Phaedra was more than happy to bring her mother's catalog. The
plus size catalog.
That's right. And we all know in the industry, plus size is size 8.
Right. So so I liked the interview. I love the energy. I like when NeNe was transparent about family members that had struggles also.
Yeah. And that's the thing, because she said when they started season 1 through 3, they just showed their life. What's happening now is made up life.
Yep. Right.
And
that's because production is coming.
And they can't even say Candy's not showing her life because she showed more than everybody else on there.
Yeah, that's because production is coming in with these scripts and they're trying to make them have these moments because actually Kenya,
it's like lightning in a bottle.
I disagree. I don't think Candy's showing anything.
No, wait.
Kenya came
Candy
on with
showed
the
her whole
boyfriend.
life. What do you? What?
No, wait.
There's a lot that's not being shown. She don't talk about certain things.
I mean, how much more
showed her whole
dysfunctional life can she show?
But and then she's still boring though, Q.
I mean, I'm not saying I didn't say she wasn't born. I'm just saying she's already showed her whole life. I've been said Candy should be off the show, but she I will
should have left season 2.
Show her whole life.
But that has to be
Not
negotiated
season
in the
2,
deal.
no.
More than these girls that are on here now.
She's showing more than
does.
Kenya. She's showing more
But
than
NeNe
Kenya.
has
She's
shown
showing
more than everybody. I mean, she took you back to
NeNe
her
was okay with
hometown
it.
to, you know,
She
meet
even
her
talked about
dad
her
and
mom.
everything.
But they all,
Right.
but none of them are going to show every single
Right.
aspect of their reality. Some stuff.
Yeah, to not knowing
there's
who her father
limitations.
That's
was.
why the show is where it is now.
We've seen
Candy
a lot.
not showing realness.
Hold on. So we're doing the whole, everybody can talk, but we're talking over each other. So for the people who are not on the panel, it's gonna be hard for them to understand what everybody is saying. And this is gonna be a rotating panel. Does anybody mind dropping down? Because there's people who are clicking the link.
I'm gonna drop down, Mims. Thanks, everyone.
No problem. Have a good one.
I'll drop down too. I'll just say, long live NeNe, long live Marla.
You don't know about Marla.
I don't know about Marlo though.
Right.
Yeah.
Am I able to say anything?
Yeah, jump in, Baltimore Bunny. You gotta throw what I don't know why y'all. You could just throw bows in here. Tie up your hair like Mama Joyce back in the day. Pull up some Vaseline, some
Take
Tim.
earrings off.
And you from
Yeah.
Baltimore?
This is your
You from
confessional.
Baltimore? You know how they do. You know how we do in Baltimore. Come on.
Oh
now.
gosh.
Straight
Oh
up.
gosh. Well, I just want to say hello, Mims and family.
Hey.
I love your show. It gives me joy. I'm laughing all the time. But I thought the interview with NeNe and Carlos, it was amazing. It just offered a lot of insight and to me. And NeNe herself, she just looked fabulous. That was me. And I think that just the show needs more fabulosity there. We need to see that luxury on the RHOA. That's all I want to say. Thank you so much.
Wait, before you go, Baltimore Bunny, this is your first time calling in, right?
Yes, it is. I finally got through.
Don't be a
Welcome.
stranger.
Happy.
I'm
Okay.
When you're speaking about people and money and being behind the gates,
yeah,
I get a little flack because I give some of the people a hard time, like on Potomac.
Yeah.
Do you feel like the current iteration of the cast we're really showing like the movers and shakers of Atlanta, outside of maybe Candy, because we all know Candy is rich and connected, but like for the rest of the cast, do you feel like Courtney is really giving us lifestyle?
I don't think that any of them are giving what we need to see. In my opinion, I'm a professional. I work for the government. Nothing fancy here, but a lot of the things that they have on there, I have. I need to see something that's luxurious. That's for me. And I don't make a lot of money, but I'm looking at the stuff and I'm saying, well, gosh, I have that in my closet. I'm simply saying I'm not saying everything they have, but many things I see on that show I have here. So I'm simply saying, give me something I don't have to aspire to,
I understand.
I visited Atlanta on several occasions, and I saw big things down there. So Baltimore, we're trying to get like in Atlanta. Detroit has already made it there, but we're trying to get like in Atlanta there. But I don't think so. I think they're not representing Atlanta the way it should be, except for Candy, of course.
All right. Well, thank you, Baltimore. Thank you, Baltimore. And don't be a stranger.
Okay. In the beginning, they weren't making a lot of money. So what's the excuse now that you're not showing anything?
But I think because the show was never really a luxury kind of show, like they never really did we never really seen them like spending like huge amounts of money. So I think they kind of just continue to run down that way. I think we saw Kim buy the truck or Big Papa buy the truck.
Yeah. Thank you, Papa. Thank you.
outside of that, I don't know who's really like dropped that kind of money in a scene.
Yeah, it hasn't been really shown on that show. I thought it was interesting that NeNe brought up in Carlos, Kim was allowed to not be anywhere. She never went on a trip.
Mm-hmm.
So that
technically
shows...
that wasn't actually true. Like the first couple seasons, they didn't really have a trip. When they did do a trip, it was on a bus to Miami. They really weren't giving
on a bus.
They weren't giving our girls. They were giving our girls what they deserved for the kind of ratings they had. Moreover, Kim took her ass on that bus and almost got choked out. So that's probably why Kim was like, "I'm not going nowhere with y'all."
That's only running her mouth.
That's 2 times being choked out.
And then she was
Kim
pregnant.
was
So she
nervous.
didn't go to Africa because she was pregnant. So and then she was off the show.
Can I say something here about Cynthia? For all of these younger people who don't know about the fashion scene in the late 70s, early 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, Cynthia was not what you call a supermodel. She was popular, people in the chat. Kimora Lee Simmons was a supermodel because she was the muse of Karl Lagerfeld of Chanel. She ended every runway show as the bride. Karl took her under her wings. That's why she is a supermodel.
Right.
No one ever took Cynthia under their wing. No one made her their muse. She was popular, which means when someone who looks similar to her, that was supermodel, could not be booked, she was booked. That's just all it is. You just have to suck it up, point blank and period. She was the Sears catalog Woolworths girl. Okay?
So what does that mean, though?
Pull up the catalog. Oh my goodness.
And I don't think Kimora was a supermodel. I think she was.
Yeah, I never considered
she
her
was a supermodel.
I didn't consider her supermodel.
She was a supermodel because Karl Lagerfeld deemed it so.
See, I think people like Beverly. I think of those that Carlos mentioned. I don't think of Tyra. I don't think of like even more. She doesn't come to my mind, and definitely not Cynthia, because most people didn't know who Cynthia was. They had to Google her.
Yep.
But I think we knew that she wasn't a supermodel.
I'm not anyone, but I didn't know.
Yeah, we thought she
was a
dressed
fashion nerd, and Kimora was
Really jumped in. It's a free for all.
Oh, okay.
Hi.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, really?
I thought it was. I don't think I'm not a big fan of Carlos's interview style, but I think NeNe did a good job of. Somebody said earlier that she's a good storyteller, and I think she did a good job of telling the story. Something that she said in the interview that I think is valid. She said in the beginning, everybody wanted to be on this show. Everybody wanted to be an Atlanta housewife. Like everybody wanted, and they had their pick of the litter. Whereas now we're at a point where people are literally turning them down. And they've reached out and they've asked a lot of the who's who of Atlanta, and they don't want to do it. And I think that's a question that production, they need to ask themselves. How did we go from turning people away to we can't get anybody to say yes? And that goes back to what Mims was saying earlier about, well, the show was boring and this and this. But I really think that's the conversation that production really needs to have to figure it out. As far as NeNe is concerned, yes, NeNe, we get it. Like, I don't think anybody doesn't give NeNe her props. But I also think NeNe has to take responsibility for what went wrong. She can't keep blaming everybody else for what went wrong. And, NeNe is a perfect example of no matter how good you are, no matter how much they like you, if you become a problem, you can be replaced.
May I?
Some might say unsuccessfully, and that's fine, but
you can be replaced.
You can be replaced,
But look how boring it is with her being replaced.
May I? Sorry, may I go?
Yeah, D. Marie, you've been here since day one. If you don't know how to throw a bow yet, then I'm gonna start calling you Candace. I'm gonna start calling you Candace.
Wait a minute. Look, here's the thing: is that no matter how we feel about the interview. Her presence is what we've been wanting.
Speak it.
Her presence. I mean, I paid attention. I'm like, as soon as she popped up, I'm like, who's this? What did she say? What can she bring? Like, what else is there? Like, I'm sorry, but yes, she needs to take accountability for whatever she did. But I mean, her presence has just brought me life again for this franchise. So,
in other words, really be that's for you.
Next time.
Okay. Cool.
D. Marie is saying she don't care what you're saying.
That's fine. Listen, I get it. Listen, I get it. I get it. People love NeNe and they miss NeNe, and I don't negate that. But I don't know.
I agree.
I
do
agree
think
with
she
the
can
first
take
caller that
accountability.
said she ain't never coming back. So I think y'all, for all of the NeNe lovers, y'all just gonna have to accept that she's never coming back.
Maybe on a different network, though. Maybe on a different network.
Yeah,
but I don't
She'll
know.
never come back to Housewives. I'm not saying she'll never be on TV again, but
well, they might not come back to Housewives if they don't turn it back around.
But NeNe can't come back. But see,
Come
she
on
can't
now.
come back because she sued the network. You can't sue a network and think you're going to be brought back on the show. Know how much begging or dry begging you do. You just can't go out there and read your boss and say,
Yeah, they will blacklist you.
Hey, can I get my job back? No, you just said I did coke. Like,
I'm trying to think of an instance where somebody
It's not
sued
like
and
she
got their
didn't
job
lie.
back.
She might not have lied.
She didn't, but
Let's go back to the fact that Bravo made a shit ton of money off them, and they were only paying them $10,000. And then the next season, they were still only going to pay them $10,000. It wasn't until they band together, got an attorney. That season 3, they all made what they were supposed to be making. So I do think that there is some credence to what NeNe is saying about the network. The problem is, after NeNe was on this trajectory, they started throwing money at her. I wouldn't be surprised if she was making near what Andy was making for that show specifically, not for all of his stuff, but I think that she was making more than any other housewife across any other franchise.
She was.
I think at one point NeNe was the highest paid. I remember reading that. I think.
Because Vicky Goldenson was mad.
But NeNe deserved it because the ratings that they brought. And don't get it twisted. It wasn't just them benefiting or NeNe benefiting from them in the sense that she was making money. NeNe becoming a star was what Bravo needed, which is why they made that connection to whoever did Glee with NeNe. Because if they could take somebody who has no celebrity and turn them into a celebrity, that makes the machine go more that makes the machine go faster. Now Bravo can make stars, and it's not just a reality star, it's a television star, it's a movie star. So NeNe was, people always like to put her down like, oh, well, she just got her come up off them, but actually so did Bravo. Because there's very few being Bobby Brown type situations where you have like a superstar like Whitney Houston who's willing to film for Bravo. But turning a reality star who they're not paying what they should be paying.
But it was their first season. I think all the Housewives, their first season.
Season 2, they still made $10,000.
It's almost like benefiting for being a slave.
Yeah. Exactly.
Can I jump in for a quick second?
Jump in
and say something. Okay, I just want to add. And I guess I want to go back for a second. I guess that comment about NeNe is for me also, because although I love the interview, I've never really been team NeNe. I like my housewives a little less animated, so I do prefer the Cynthia. I always prefer the Candy. I do like the Kenya only because she's from Detroit and we went to the same high school. But other than that, but I love this interview with NeNe, and I do want to add. No. I was but I was the freshman when she won her pageant. So she came back my freshman year to visit the school when she won. So that was exciting. And then I always I even like the Jon Snow again because she's from Detroit. I'm just the Detroit girl. So if you get Detroit people on TV, I love us. But I do want to add, I do think that production is partly to blame for this season. I know it's the cast and you can only work what they give you. But the fact that they edited out Cynthia's scene at Kenya's commercial shows that they have footage that they're not using. That's just one instance that we know about. I can only imagine what we don't know about that they're not showing us, and got us thinking that it's all the cast. But I think it's a combination of the two. That's just my little opinion. And then lastly, well, I was gonna say something else, but I forgot. But anyway, yeah, good. But it was a good interview. It was a really good interview, and I don't like Carlos, but it was a really good interview. NeNe gave him good advice about doing sit downs, and it was very solid. I look forward to part 2.
So, Steph, I have a question.
Steph,
Yes.
hold on, really quick. With the stuff that you forgot to say, was it to tell people to like the video?
Well, it could have been. We gonna make it gonna be that today. Yeah, like the video.
Like and subscribe and share.
Yes, share it, like it.
The
Yes.
more interaction that you get in the comments, the more they push your videos.
It's called engagement.
Please hit the like button.
The people in the chat are saying Monique
fur coat.
are saying Monique came back to Netflix, but the difference, me personally, I think the difference between Monique and NeNe was making the money. Monique was not making the money. So whatever was going on behind the scenes with NeNe and Bravo, I feel like NeNe went on the hate train, and that's why I feel like she'll never be back on Bravo. I don't know.
I agree. I think also Monique, the comedian.
Yeah, Monique the comedian.
I didn't like that stand-up.
But also, thanks for saying that, because I know what I forgot. I want to add that because I believe there's another housewife that sued Bravo but got back on. But in my opinion, I think NeNe's mistake was calling them people racist. I think they can get over the lawsuit because that's business. But one thing they don't like to be called, in my opinion, they don't like to be called racist. Even if they're racist adjacent, they don't want to be called racist, and they cannot get over that. They can get over business stuff, but not being called racist.
What about saying that Andy likes the?
That'll do it.
I don't know.
Man, I don't know if you watched Watch What Happened Live. It was like a few weeks ago, and Andy was tired of people asking him about NeNe. So he said that if it was up to him, she would have been back on. So it's not. He wanted to make it clear it is not him that the reasons why she's not back on. He made that extremely clear because he was tired of everybody asking him. So I think Andy's more about the money, and he didn't really care about all the other stuff she was saying.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, NeNe. He even said NeNe.
It's bigger than him.
He even said NeNe definitely was the architect of Housewives franchise.
Oh, you saw it.
You have to admit that when Housewives first started with Orange County and then New York, it was dying. Had they not brought these women on, I was so happy to see these women. I was like, yes. Black.
That's because they underestimate.
They were still dying. They were still, the ratings
were dying, but the ratings were not what Atlanta
The ratings
was.
were dying, is what I'm saying. They saved Bravo because NBC was about to sell Bravo.
Who do y'all think not coming back next season?
Everybody.
How about none of them?
None of them.
No, but like real. I mean, I know that's what y'all want, but who do y'all think not coming back next season for real?
All them tired heifers back.
Yeah, it's hard to tell with this show because I didn't think they would bring Marlo back, and they brought Marlo back.
Right.
And it seemed like they're gonna bring Drew back. If anything, as much as I do like her, I could see Sheree not coming back, but I also could see Candy not coming back and Kenya not coming back. But I don't know. I don't know.
I am so interested in Drew and her Lady Pond swimming.
You are?
Drew needs a friend. She really needs a friend.
Because what is she crying about?
You must want some
Every
good
time
sleep.
somebody asks her something, what is she crying about?
Because she's hurting. I think it's a divorce.
About the life that she's not sharing with us, so we
Yes.
don't know what
I want to see what she
about.
hiding, and if
That's
she
what I'm
hiding the
saying.
Lady Pond stuff, I want to see it.
I don't care.
No, I think it's a divorce. I think she's crying about the divorce.
Those ladies.
Mims, do you have anybody backstage?
No.
Mims, do you have anyone? No. Okay.
What's going on?
You are.
I don't want to think about Drew swimming in the lady pond.
Yeah.
I don't want to think about her swimming in the man pond.
Well, I guess
don't want
she
to think
didn't want
about
to think
Drew's-
about it either.
Well, think about it. You guys,
Drew.
she's going to carry the rest of the season. Are we serious? Like, come on.
No,
now.
she's not.
I want to see
Yeah,
real
but
Drew.
I think that's part of the problem though. When we talk about who's coming back and who's not coming back, I think that's part of the problem. They don't really have a large pond of people to pick from. So they bring the Sherees back. They keep the Drews and the Marlos because again, like if you think of any major Black woman in Atlanta,
they're not coming.
Just the first 5 people you think of, they've probably turned the show down.
Well, can I ask you a question? Is it because reality TV is dying, or is it because there's so many shows in Atlanta that this show really doesn't matter anymore? Because you got Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, you got this Atlanta, that Atlanta, this Atlanta. Could that also be another part of it?
But remember,
I don't know.
2 different classes of people. Like the class of people that they had on Real Housewives of Atlanta wasn't the type that they would usually, cast for some of the other shows. But they still have treated them like second-class citizens. I mean, even though they've put Bravo on the map. Because think about it. The husbands on New Jersey get paid, yet the husbands on RHOA, as hard as they work, they have never gotten their own check.
Yeah.
Somebody asked this question. They said, were the ratings on NeNe's last season good? The ratings were close to 2 million, but you could see as the season progressed, the numbers like waned, and even down to the reunions, which are always going to be their cash cows. It started at 16, went to 17, dropped to 14. So I do think that people were tired of the Kenya NeNe, because that was the season where there was like spit being thrown and popcorn.
Oh, yeah.
I think that people's attention span with RHOA was waning. And the same iteration of that cast was no longer viable for the network.
The magic was gone.
And honestly, I mean, I know we got NeNe fans, but if you're being honest about it, NeNe was not pleasant to watch in that last season.
No, she wasn't.
Just was
At
angry.
all.
She wasn't, but I still loved her.
But
Well,
she,
that's fine. But
was
I'm
going
talking about as
through
a
a
viewer.
lot. She was
Yeah,
going
as
through
a
a
viewer,
lot.
like that's just not,
people turned against her. People didn't like her anymore.
I was watching just for NeNe.
But NeNe can't
Even
come
though
back
she
and
was
save
saying,
this. She can't come back and save this show anymore because the show is just a dot. Like she can't do it.
I agree.
It's just like OC is dying. They might as well let that go too.
Yeah, if NeNe comes back, we'll watch it for a couple episodes. Then we'll be like, oh, here go NeNe and Kenya again. Here go NeNe and Candy again. It'll get old and dry, and nobody wants to watch that.
As long as they don't let them be themselves. Like she said, we came on and we were ourselves. But what do you all think about Cynthia? Like how multiple, even Andy has said Cynthia, like the Cynthia we see on TV is not, this little sweet innocent cherub.
Oh wow! Hold on one second. Hold on.
Oh, go ahead.
1 second. I'm sorry. Okay, so I offered the floor. I see a lot of people who are saying they do not like NeNe. NeNe was out of control, attacking crew members. Let me see. Somebody else had said, I quit watching the show. Oh, I stopped watching for NeNe. You guys should have came up and jumped on the panel to talk about, why you didn't, because it's been a love fest. And I'm not the hugest NeNe season 8 to 12 fan, but I'm definitely a NeNe fan season maybe 1 to 6. So jump in. We're not gonna fight you for real. This is not an RHOP tape.
Right.
We're not really gonna attack you.
But can I say something about?
Hold on really quick, because I interrupted Steph, I believe.
Oh, so sorry, Steph.
Oh, no problem. No, what I was going to say was, I know a lot of people always say, well, Cynthia was boring, Cynthia was this, but to me, a perfect cast has a balance. And to me, Cynthia always gave me that balance. Again, I don't like the loud housewives. I don't like the extraness. And I'm a businesswoman, so I always gravitated to Candy and Cynthia. I miss Cynthia. I miss her presence because for me, again, even though she's not the most exciting person, she reminded me of myself. My mom and her share a birthday, so I knew Cynthia was a firecracker. My mom was a firecracker. But also I want to add another thing and go back to something somebody else said. I think finding a balance between the opulence that people want to see and the drama, to me, I think that would be difficult because the people who have that opulent lifestyle is probably not as dramatic as y'all want to see. Like to Jon Snow, that first season, she was really the only one with that kind of money, but she was boring. Mangata, she has an orphanage. She probably has that money, but y'all, she's boring. So you got to find somebody who has the opulence and the drama at the same time, in my opinion.
I miss Dwight.
So messy.
Does anyone miss Dwight?
I miss Dwight.
I miss Dwight.
I miss Dwight. I was so happy to
Lawrence.
see him at the fashion show.
I was living for Dwight at the fashion show.
Hey, Mims, I'm gonna jump down. I just want to say one thing. I want to say thank you, Carlisha, for giving us something that we all can finally watch and agree on. Good.
Amen.
Right.
You're right. You're right.
Hey, y'all have a good night.
Night, Q.
Have a good one. Bye, Q.
Listen.
Can we get Dwight back somehow?
I wish.
Where
You
is
know
he?
he married.
Ooh, nobody knows. We need to find out.
Gone,
We
Dwight.
need to see Dwight's partner, okay? And who wears the pants in that relationship?
Oh, he's married?
That's what he said last time he was on Watch What Happens Live.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I like Dwight. Did any of you watch The Real Housewives of Cape Town?
No.
Where can you watch it?
No. Who was that?
wasn't
Yeah,
my thing.
so Bravo, it's funny how they snuck, they didn't want to be called the R word, but yet they snuck that franchise in there and no one watched. Well, I watched it. No one watched The Real Housewives of Cape Town.
I hope it's nothing like nobody's really young.
They're
rich.
No,
in
it's nothing
Africa.
like that.
Oh, okay. Ain't none. They got the money, but they ain't young.
So yeah, and these women definitely have the money and the businesses and the luxury that a lot of people were saying that they wanted. And so they are able to say, hey, we gave them this, but they didn't watch it.
Okay, wait.
But is it Bravo or did Bravo franchise the license? Because that's just like with like America's Next Top Model. They had top models all over the world, but it wasn't necessarily Tyra Banks and her production company, but they licensed the title. I mean, she made money off of it, but it wasn't like her show.
Right. And and I'm not sure, I'm not,
it's a couple of those Real Housewives. It's like Cape Town. It's like a couple of other countries, and they don't come on Peacock. They don't come on Bravo. They just you got to kind of know where to find them. Because I wanted to watch a couple of those because I heard good things about them.
It was
but
on Peacock.
I didn't know where to find them.
Yeah, it was on Peacock.
They should get one.
Cape Town was on Peacock. Oh, okay. Okay, my bad. My bad. I didn't see it. That's my fault.
Can I just say something? Real quick. Okay. So this is the Real Housewives, right? Okay. Shouldn't the men be the businessmen?
You said, should the men be the businessmen?
Mm-hmm.
I don't particularly like, the first seasons of RHOA, we didn't really see the husbands like that. They were more in the background. I like to see them less vocal because when Peter turned up, I think that's why Cynthia didn't have her real personality, because her husband thought he was one of the cast.
But
he was.
That's because she was a housewife of him.
Well, that's because let him tell it. When you listen to him, he's the one that introduced the opportunity. It was him that, pushed her to do it.
True.
No, he should have had the peach.
Yeah, because he needed her to have a job. She keeps spending her money.
Should we just revamp it like the Real Housewives, as in it's the housewives that are the successful ones, not the men?
But I wonder if they had a contract for her to pay him that money, because she had that friendship contract with NeNe.
Nope. Because that was something,
he took that off the top, he said. He he took it off the top.
Yeah, that was him.
Well, after she paid the bills, he said.
It just feels like all these women end up single and they own businesses, and the men are somewhere, who knows where. So shouldn't the focus be kind of revamped to we can't say the marriages that Bravo ruined. We can't say that, but something like businesswomen of Atlanta.
Yeah, I think they had cracks. Some of them already had cracks, like Peter. Peter and Cynthia, when he couldn't pay for that alcohol.
Imagine.
None of you all know, none of you all would have married him. None of us
I wouldn't have.
He's scraping together money, and she has to ask her dad, her retired dad, who we could see has no money, especially the amount that they were looking for. And it's like, what did the people have to do? Buy their own drinks?
But you know what? That's not even the part that bothered me about their wedding. Because, a lot of people get in over their head with the wedding. What bothered me was the fact that this man took her money. and didn't seem to feel like it was a problem, and didn't seem to feel like that was an issue. To me, that was a bigger problem than
in his addiction, he might have felt like that was fine.
Right.
You don't know.
Yeah, that was the beginning. So that's that first red flag is you can't even pay for a wedding, and you're asking me to ask my mother and my father, and we're grown. We're really good and grown, and you're older than me.
Sorry, Mims, I don't know where you want to go.
You're on mute, man.
We see your lips moving, and we know that there are amazing things coming out.
You're muted.
There you go. We can hear you now.
You're muted. You have to mute yourself to jump into the conversation.
I'm sorry, what?
No, Miss Good Cat, which I love your name.
Miss Good Cat.
What did you say?
You better tell on yourself.
No, that's the name.
We know.
What?
Oh, they left.
But I wonder if Cynthia wishes that her mom and sister had held on to that marriage license and never gave it to her.
Nah, they would have found a way. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
Child, she would have married that man. She would have married that man, child.
Yeah.
Because she's thirsty for a man.
She would have married that man. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna say this is the word jump off. Thank you, Mims, for having me, and thank you for the panel. I was just gonna say, for me, it's not a love fest with NeNe. I don't hate NeNe, but I'm not caught up in the nostalgia of NeNe. I think that NeNe definitely was great for the show. She definitely is an unforgettable personality, and absolutely, when you think of the Mount Rushmore of Housewives, you have to have NeNe on there. Like, I give her all of her props. However, when I fast forward to where we are now, I need, for me, and nobody else needs to feel this way. I respect that. But for me, I need NeNe to take some accountability for how she contributed to her current relationship with Bravo. NeNe was the queen of Bravo. NeNe could do no wrong. NeNe was on she probably holds the record for being on Watch What Happens Live before she fell out of favor with the network. Like, NeNe, she had the, she was Ryan Murphy had her on multiple platforms. She said she hasn't even talked to Ryan Murphy in years. Like, I need her to look in the mirror and take some accountability, because it's not all. I'm not saying Bravo don't have its faults, because they absolutely do, but it ain't all Bravo. And
I'm sorry, may I just say a really quick thing? They never went to trial, so we don't know if it's real or not.
Also, there's a part 2. So I'm hoping that in the part 2, if she really wants to mend those fences, that she'll say something that will help that situation.
Yeah.
Because she really do need to be back on TV, whether it's Real Housewives or something else. But you do have to mend fences, even if somebody is wrong.
Yeah.
We don't know what happened. We don't know if they gave her money behind the scenes, to make it all go away. But hopefully next week she'll say something that'll mend that fence.
Yeah, the case is over.
There's no conviction, so we don't have any real evidence.
Hold on, y'all.
That produced it.
Dwight is marrying a woman.
What?
Wearing mink pants.
Get out of here.
No. And wearing mink pants. Ooh,
you need to stop. He looked like he got boobs too. Oh my God. I'm sorry. You said that. I shouldn't have said that. Wow.
Neither.
But you ain't never lied on.
Oh,
I can't show them kissing. I can't show.
Wow.
Yes, you can. Close your eyes and just scroll it up.
Yeah, close
no,
it. You
YouTube doesn't like
that. And that old ugly thing. You can
close your eyes to married men.
I can't.
Wow.
Listen.
Okay.
Let's do it real quick.
If Andrew Caldwell can be delivered, I guess
he's not delivered.
Somebody said it's old
Dwight
news.
can be delivered too, child.
Okay, well, you guys, this was super fun. This was definitely fun. I think everybody who came up here.
This is my first time. I enjoyed it. Thank you.
I don't know why y'all be. I don't understand why y'all be so nervous. We do fight people, but we don't fight straight shooters. So definitely come up and you know, speak up, even if you're saying something contrary to what everybody else is saying. So
DM me that article, please.
well, you're a mess.
Please.
Just Google it. It'll come up, I'm sure.
DM me that article, ma'am. Stop playing.
He said that he
Okay.
couldn't get a
Oh,
date
that's
with
old
men, but
news.
the women were not.
Sunflower
going
says
to-
that's old news about
It
Dwight.
is old
Yeah,
news.
2020.
I just wanted to see what the partner looked like.
Yeah, he said the
What,
women
his
were knocking on
implant?
the door.
The partner.
Oh, I thought you said the part. I was like solo
no,
project.
I don't never ever want to see that. Ever.
All right,
Well,
guys,
well,
thank you so
yeah.
much. We will definitely be doing something for part 2 because I think part 2 is where she gets into the lawsuit and really lets us know what's going on with Kim. So we will definitely be here for that. Thank you guys for being here. Like the video on your way out, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Bye.
Thank you
Bye,
for
everybody.
having us.